Let's bring in Peter's international panel. Thursday night they joined Peter. Joining me is Sky News contributor Kosha Gada and former Labor MP Michael Danby. Let's talk about Ukraine. I want to get both of your opinion on this. First time this year, I believe, Australia has put their hand in their pocket, pledged a further $95 million, which is a lot of money, in support to Ukraine. Further sanctions on Russia's shadow tanker. I can't quite keep up with that issue, whether we're buying Russian oil or not. Michael, are we doing enough to help Ukraine? And what's your feeling on when this war is going to end at any time soon?
Look, Australia's doing something. It's very minor compared to the Europeans, who are shouldering most of the burden. The Germans have set aside €2 billion in the last few days. The real thing we could be doing is barring the $2 billion, I think it is, of imports via Indian and Chinese refineries that Australian consumers are effectively buying Russian oil. So in fact, we're subsidising the Russian war machine, and if we barred those, and if Trump put secondary sanctions on those two things, that would be much more effective. The battle for Ukraine is being won or lost in the White House, and it depends who's up and who's down. It depends if Witkoff and the pro-isolationist element in MAGA are triumphant, the Ukrainians will lose. They have to keep hanging on. They do not want to give up their country. It's like someone telling us, like MacArthur told us during the Second World War, Steve, that we had to give up all of Northern Australia north of the Brisbane line. We wouldn't do it. We'd be mad to. And the Ukrainians are the same thing. They've got that fortified belt that in the Donbass that they don't want to give up. It leaves an open road to Kiev and Kharkiv, and people on the ground, which Mr. Witkoff has never visited, a man who's giving away another person's country, will leave the Russians a complete open road. So the whole thing is in balance at the moment. Australia plays very little role, but we could do an important thing by barring the Indian and Chinese oil refineries.
Kosha, I mean, you can mount an argument that Europe itself has not done enough up until now. Do you think that Donald Trump and his supporters really want to get involved in pouring more money and more weapons into this Ukrainian war, or would they rather just be able to walk away from it?
They are declining their interest and their support for funding by the minute. It's down in the 20s right now. You know, when the war first came out, support was north of 50s, quite divided between the left and the right of the country. But it is now down in the 20s because, as we know, the America First movement is ascendant. That is Donald Trump's movement. At least half the country sees it. Not that they don't care about Ukraine's sovereignty, but they care about their own sovereignty more. And we have problems back home where the money can be better applied. And let's defend our own border instead of someone else's border, that kind of thing. So it depends.
But Steve, you don't decide foreign policy on the basis of public opinion polls. I mean, well, really, are we deciding
the US
Australian foreign policy on the basis
his constituents? Just to finish my point, Michael, the US
president I know, but so is the American Congress, and the American Senate has 85 people who want to put a bar on Ukraine. 85 senators.
I'm stating the electorate, and to answer your question, Steve, that this is where the electorate stands.
No, you're stating the MAGA view, the Tucker Carlson MAGA view. I'm sorry.
Yes, Trump's base.
I think what Kosha's saying is the reality is that Middle America probably don't care about Ukraine.
Or they care, but they don't want any more money flowing into it.
85 American senators say they should put secondary sanctions on the Russians, and they should.
And sanctions
the American system is not just the American president, it's the Senate and it's the judiciary. There's a balance of all of these kinds of
elements. Yes, Michael, that is implicit in my comment. They are serving their constituents. So money, I think, is a tougher point. Sanctions, I think, are a little bit easier because it's not hard cash going out.